There's something here, a story that I thought was an interesting one, and I want to hear everybody's take on this because we've got a big cost of living crisis. And we've heard all of this stuff about the amount of money the PM and the DPM and everybody are taking on these trips. It has come out that Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles has spent $3.6 million on VIP flights. A spokesman for Richard Marles said they're not going to reveal where he traveled or why, but we know where he goes. But on the other hand, while there's some outrage about this, personally, I feel like, well, it's his job. He can't go fly business class because he's got all these confidential briefings and stuff in his briefcase. And I think it'd be fairly parochial to be too cross with it. Tina McQueen, what do you think about all this?
I wouldn't care where he travelled, how far he travelled, and how many times he travelled, James, except he bangs on about net zero, saving the planet, climate change. That's my issue with it. If you're that sincere and that serious about, not consuming so much and trying to save the planet, zoom in. Don't fly so much. That's my only issue with it, the hypocrisy of it, James.
And Caroline, this is also a guy who has slammed Bronwyn Bishop in the past for her use of helicopter flights. It does seem, not only can they go and get a secure Zoom in a situation room, but there is a little bit of this hypocrisy, isn't there?
Just a little bit. People in glass private jets should not be throwing any stones. And look, 10 years ago, he said about Bronwyn Bishop, and I can't wait for her to be on the show later this week, I'm sure, and she'll have a strong say about this. He said the notion of being so out of touch with the rest of the country is one of the biggest breaches of faith that a politician can have. And look at the hypocrisy now. The thing that stinks for me is that they don't hold themselves to the same standard as they do other people and those on the other side. Look, all politicians of all parties do this. It was the Morrison government that created a level of secrecy around these flight logs to save themselves from embarrassment. But now the Labor government is quite happy to go along with the same thing and is not even giving any details as to why he spent that much money.
Could not disagree more about the Bronwyn Bishop analogy. Could not disagree more. This was a speaker.
It's a shame she's not on tonight.
Absolutely. This was a Speaker of the House going from Tullamarine, I think it was, to Geelong. Is that right? In a hour-long, what would have been an hour-long drive, she took a helicopter, the Speaker of the House. I think there are three positions in this government or in this country that, frankly, no one could care how much they spend. The Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister / Defence Minister and the Foreign Affairs Minister.
I think you're wrong. I think Australians do care about it.
They are signing up a $300 billion AUKUS agreement. They are sending bushmasters over to the Ukraine to fight Russia. They are signing up
today. If
they are
Richard
signing
Marles took a helicopter trip for a 1-hour flight because we cannot get those details.